It's Friday. Me and Jolene are relaxing. We did a little run this morning. We got a U-Haul trailer. We went and got something, but other than that, we're relaxing. We got back a little bit later on. It's nice and warm. And as I was sitting there at the garage, I was looking at this car here, and thought we'd make a video how I would make it look like this. If I wanted the car to look like this, I've got the wheel set on it. It's on the ground. And this is how I would do it. There's no chassis to it. It is a 49 or 50 Plymouth convertible. It was. I think there's probably been a foot or more taken out of it, or 2 feet taken out of it, or something or other. I spent a little bit of time at it here a while back, made some quarter panels. I was going to make it like a little Porsche thing out of it. And then it just kind of went outside because, well, TV hit, you know, things happen when you shut things down. Anyways, when I'm looking at this and it's sitting on the ground like this, when you see the wheel like this, if you want your car right on the ground, your wheel sitting like this, I would leave the car there. I would get the rear end in the car, I'd punk the hole through where it fits through the quarter panel, I'd put the wheel on, and I'd leave the car right on the ground, leave the rear end there. That's what I would do with that. I'd put that rear end in there. What I would do is, on another thing up here, is if you didn't have a front end, you couldn't buy one, I would just clip it, put the wheels on it, leave it sit on the ground. Once your front end is sitting on the ground and your rear end is sitting on the ground, your car is sitting on the ground, then you could build your chassis. Then you know how far your angle is to put it underneath the car and run it back and go up over the rear end. We know where we're going to have to do it because the floor is out. The rear end will be right there. Your front end will be right there. So we know that if we wanted this car on the ground, that we would run our frame on whatever angle that is to get down underneath our feet and run all the way on the ground, and then we bring it up over the rear end, and that would be it. As you do that, and you put your suspension or you put your frame in it, if you air ride at the back, well, then you would know exactly, because you would have it decompressed. That's where it is on the ground. So when you built the chassis and the air ride, you would build it decompressed. And same with the front. So when it comes time, when you're all done building your chassis and you put your car there, when you pump it up, you've got your 6 inches of your bag, you've got your ride height. And that's how I do that. Rear end, put a front end, and then connect it together. Build the chassis. And it's pretty basic. That car will tell you exactly, if you put the car where it's at, the car basically tells you what you have to do to make the car sit like that. I like the wheels like this on the outside, but I'm almost thinking that if I put the fenders on and then I cut out the tops where the wheels went, that would probably look pretty cool too. I've seen a little bit of that going on. I've seen a few other things going on, but as I look at that car, that's how you would build it. If you want your truck or your car on the ground, put it on the ground and build your chassis there, and just build your bags aired out, not aired out, but decompressed, I don't know, it seems pretty basic to me, but that's how I would do it. Clip that Camaro front clip, the rear end, 45 it down there by your feet, toe board, bring your front flat back, bring it up over top of the rear end, put your bags in it, get the air, up she goes. And then you'd have a car like that. That's that low to the ground. That's how you do that. And the best way is, in all honesty, is to have all that floor gone, because you need that floor needs to be gone anyways, because you're gonna be running a drive shaft. If you know what I'm saying. All the cars, this one's braced up fairly good, because we had it sitting on a chassis. But generally, the cars that I do, I cut corners, and this is what I do: is I weld the doors onto the quarter panel. And that way, there the car can't go like this. It can go back and forth a little bit. If it's connected to the back, it don't go back and forth. But I always weld the doors together on the cars when I do it. It's just faster than cutting all this pipe up to make sure it doesn't distort on the inside. If the doors fit, it's right. If the doors don't fit, it's not right. And that's what I generally do. A lot of times when I chop a car, I won't put any bracing in it. I'll just weld the door shut. Can't go anywheres. If it takes off, breaks the door free, well, then you know you've got a problem. But generally, if you do a good job tacking it up, it don't go nowheres. And that's how I would run that car. It would be fun. This car is fun when I'm sitting there doing nothing. I think about other things. Standing down here looking at the container. We're going to build a front for it. I started gathering up some metal. We're going to use some metal. We're going to put an art deco piece above the front, above the door, and just to make it, you know, to make it look like we put a little time into, a little effort. We'll put a little effort into it, and it'll make it look fantastic. I'm sure of it. But that's how I build a car that sits on the ground. Put the car on the ground, put the wheels underneath, put the rear underneath it, build the chassis with the wheels the way they are, put the bags in, and press. Cool. Have a good Friday. Practice the golden rule.